Good afternoon. It's 4:02, so I think I did pretty good starting on time. Okay, so where were we? So now back to our game design here. Focus, 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 focus. Mooney. I think that's supposed to be say money. I was in a very sloppy writing mood there. Especially now that I can write in finer tip, now that I figured out how to do that. Okay, so let's go over to our table mockup. So we were talking earlier, or I was talking earlier, to the issue of how we're going to do legendary Pokemon, rarity of Pokemon. I was thinking that when you encounter one, you have a chance of it being a different rarity. I think what we'll do is we'll just make some Pokemon a little bit, kind of like there'll be TCGs. And if we use those kind of skills or abilities and settings that a TCG might be, we'll just correspond rarity, which really just means there'll be fewer of them in the game. We're not going to make any kind of special IDs for those cards. If they're better, they're better. What we do need to do is figure out how to determine encounters. If you pull off a type, let's say we're looking at the type deck, and mostly it's Pokemon. What if you flip a stage 2 to encounter? That might be kind of a tough thing. So if a stage 2 flips, it's going to be, you're not going to have a stage level 1 stage 2. So if you flip it right away, it's probably going to beat you up because they're probably going to be whatever their minimum level is, right? So we're going to have those cycle back through, because you won't be able to capture a Charizard on your first turn. A stage 2 Pokemon is just too strong for any noob to run into and to get. And I don't know that we maybe you can capture a stage 2, but you have to at least be able to beat one. And so I'm thinking that those are going to be recycled. So if you encounter a creature that's higher than your highest level Pokemon, no, not even that. Let's say if you encounter a Pokemon that is more than 5 levels? No, because you have 6 Pokemon in always available to you. So theoretically, you might be able to catch a stage 2, right? They're going to be the lowest possible level for that stage 2, and yeah, no, I don't think we're going to make an exception for them. I think we'll just set them up. If, however, you evolve, let's see, leveling requirements. Let's see, stage level Pokemon, evolution items. There was a thing here about evolving, and I want to mark let's see, we got evolving level Pokemon, actual Pokemon, exploring, find Pokemon, gyms, deck building, item cards, Pokemon leveling. Let's see, if you evolved, you may choose an additional card. If one of those cards is the evolution to that Pokemon, and you have reached the required minimum level. Okay, so let's make sure that we also mark you will remain your current, you will, let's put this, new Pokemon will be your new level. Ignore starting level of evolved Pokemon card. There you go. So this way we got that covered. So obviously if you don't get to evolve on your first opportunity, you might level up again and again, and you might be 27 or you might be 10 or whatever it is that you need to be to evolve. We're still working on those technicalities, but whatever the level it is, you might be 1 or 2 levels higher than that by the time you get to evolve, because the card may not have arrived, and you're going to still be that 1 or 2 levels higher. So the Pokemon itself may say starting level 25 or whatever it is, and you're going to have your Pokemon might be 27, which is fine. You'll still be 27. But the 25 will be what he is when you encounter him, should you encounter him during exploring, if that happens to come up. Yes, I slurp. It's just my way of keeping the hot from immediately touching my tongue. I slurp so that so my saliva will cool the temperature. Even though it's not even that hot right now, I probably should stop. So you can ignore that. And where'd my pen go? Ah, there it is. All right. So we kind of talked about all the cards that are going to be involved in your types. Things like Dragon and Fairy have question marks on them, because we may even have to have less than that. We may even have to question mark our Dark and our Middle. Why? Because initial versions of this game, or the initial build of this game, might not be able to support that many cards. Might be just too much. Do you remember what the fairy symbol was? What was the fairy symbol? I want to say it was a star too, but how many things could possibly be a star? I mean, there might be different versions of a star, but no, what was the fairy symbol? Don't know. It's fairy symbol. Let's see. I'm gonna look it up, which means I'll be looking at my other monitor for the moment. So let's see here. Pokemon fairy symbol. Oh, it looks kind of like 2 leaves with a little weird star thing. So it's kind of like, gonna have to make this big enough for me to actually draw such a thing. So it's kind of like a circle with 2 little thingies like this, and a weird little star thing like that. That's a fairy symbol. We got to use the same symbols, right? I mean, to match the game. I mean, kind of be silly if we didn't. And Dragon is kind of interesting. Dragon is not that cool little dragon I drew, which isn't all that cool. Let's erase my cool dragon, mostly because my pen doesn't know how to be precise on the erasing. I even dimensionally erase my G. Alright, so the dragon is kind of like, and then a ball circle around it, and he's got like a little eye right there. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of what the dragon looks like. It's obviously a better rendition of it than mine, but that's essentially what dragon is. Okay, so we have those things are all going to probably be question marks. Fighting will be a fix. Psychic will probably be a fix, but ultimately we're only going to have 4 or 5 types because I don't want to draw that many cards. So it just seems to be, call it lazy, call it what you will. So we're also going to have item cards in here. Oops. Yeah, go away. So we'll have items. And then we'll have encounter cards. What else do we have? We have item and encounter, and then we'll have, let's see. Oh yeah. We're gonna have to have an NPC deck. NPC will have trainers and merchants. Gosh. You know, I'm wondering if we need to break them all out. You know, have a random set of trainers, random set of merchants. Because it's kind of a, again, I'm trying not to come up with a bunch of different decks. I like to have some randomization, but at the same time, we need to be able to set the stuff up easily. So we have items, which could be all the items that the game might have. Potions and fancy trainers and stadiums, and I keep calling them trainers, but tools or whatever. It's just basically the stuff you would put in your deck. Encounter cards, of course, that's crucial. You know, we'll have those. We may even have to have, I'm not even sure we have to. I think with the, Gummit, stop erasing the entire line. Is that like a setting? I just want it to be smart enough to erase only what I'm telling it to erase, but it seems to want to erase the entire line. Stroke eraser, small eraser. Let's just go with let's just change it to a regular eraser. Let's just go to small eraser. See if that works. So learning a little bit about OneNote. So hey, you know, you get to be here, not only watch me design a game, but figure out how to use OneNote. I've used it for a while, but I haven't used it enough. Let's see if this is a little better. Yeah, it seems to be better. Yeah, there we go. It's actually acting like an eraser now. So what I wanted to do, oh yeah, way better, of course. That is if I can hit the mark when I'm erasing. Alright, so we're going to have the dot, 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 dot. So what this is going to represent is a face up discard. That goes underneath. So when you do your encounters, I'll flip them up underneath it, and we'll shuffle it up once you're done. And then down here we'll have another deck, which I think is going to be NPC. It's going to have to be NPC. And then we'll have down here, we'll have trainers. Let's say town NPCs. And not traveling NPC. Traveling NPC. Okay, so the difference is when it tells you to put down a shop owner or something like that, or to place a town NPC, that'll be in a town tile. Maybe these are maybe that's it. Maybe we have different kinds of encounter cards. Just call them encounter cards. and certain encounter cards will be fixed, so we can have like, so we can simplify the encounter cards based on the type of type of location you're in. That'd be less stuff on the encounter card. Because see, whenever, right now, the way we have it is if you have an encounter, and let's say you're on a path, and it says, okay, put this kind of card there. Well, we got to have those kind of cards easily available, right? So we're either going to have it be a random card that you stick in there, like we could have path encounter, off-path encounter, and town encounter, which would be any tile that would be representative of a town. And that could be anything. I think that's what we may have to do. We may have to have multiple encounter types, because then then the card doesn't even have to say what kind of thing goes down, right? Because you're just going to draw a card and it's going to be what it is. Huh. Maybe we'll do that, because I don't see how we would do it otherwise, because otherwise we have to define it. We'll have to have a stack for trainers, and we'd have to stack for NPCs, and then when the encounter card tells you to put down a trainer or an NPC, you're still getting the randomizing. But I don't think that's yeah, I just think it just depends on where you're at. You know, and that's, yeah, because then it could tell you Pokemon encounter or trainer encounter. It'll either be a trainer for a path, or it'll be a whatever. It'll be all the valid cards that can come up on a path, and all the valid cards that can come up off path, and then there'll be all the cards that can come up in a town. And yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We're gonna have 3 types of encounters. That's my new plan. See, I think it's all starting to take shape, but you know, you have to solve for all the little problems that are going to come up, because when you're first conceiving it, you don't realize that there's a lot of fiddlinesses that you got to try to reduce and make it more concise and clear. And so we don't want to have to make people decide. So if they're on a path, we'll have a path encounter. And then we'll have so the eraser is better, but it's also more work because it doesn't just erase your line. So we have path encounter, then we have off path encounters, and then we have town encounters. So town encounters could be trainers as well. Maybe even a special, maybe a couple of rare type things, who knows, custom things for the town. But we'll have town encounters, which will be, you know, the type of tile. There will be a town tile. Okay. So we have off-path encounters, town encounters, and path encounters. And it all depends on where you are on your tile. Now the encounters can still tell you, and so if you encounter a Pokemon, you have to pick the Pokemon that's representative that represents the area you're in. So if you're in a forest area, you'll have to draw from the forest or water or grass or whatever this area. Let's see, what else do we have? So we're going to have to identify our counter cards. And then that's going to be path, off path, deck, and town deck. So it's based on your location on the tiles and where you are on the tiles. All right, making good progress. All right, so that's a good chunk of cards going to be spread out. I don't know. This is 11 stacks of cards. Yeah, you can probably do 11. Yeah, maybe that's probably right. Okay. So now, what other things do we need? I'm gonna mark them in red just to show that we've done. We got decks for each Pokemon. So that's red because that's done. We have an item deck, done. We're not going to do a trainer deck because I think we'll just have trainers in each of the types of decks that are relative to them. No, maybe we need a trainer deck because our gyms have to have trainers. If our gyms have trainers, those aren't going to be a specific type, and I'm not going to have gym encounters. That's silly, because why would I want to separate all the trainers? So our encounter cards, can tell you what to put down. So we would have to have them be, these are trainers. Okay, so we'll have our trainers that if you have an encounter that says you encounter a trainer, you'll pull a card from the trainer stack. That'll also be same with, so we still have, right now I'm going back and forth. I don't know, I really wish we had more brains here helping me make sense of this stuff. But I'll figure it out. We'll get there. The fun of game design is just trying to work out these little details and make it work. Okay, so I'm going to, well, I guess we could always work that out. Encounter cards, I was trying to think, and if we have, if we identify each area's type of encounter, we're going to have trainer cards in those areas that say this is going to be a trainer. So, yeah, I'm not sure what the ideal approach to that would be. Okay, so I think we're just going to go with what we have, and we'll work from there. So the next thing we have to have, we do have a trainer deck, so that would be red. We did mark down our encounters, so let's go to mark those off as red for now. We have our Pokédex sheet in the player area. Okay. Now we have the NPC tokens, so I don't know what those would be. Meeples? Whatever. So we have like, we'll just mark down NPC tokens. And they'll be like, let's see. One. And then you have to have, I think it might be a problem to have, let's see, 0. Let's put it 1, and then we have 2. Keep making my circles too small. So we'll have to go circle and a 2. The idea is that we have one that marks where they're at, so we can put the little meeple guy in the spot that it's at, and then we put the 1 or the 2 or the whatever on top of on top of the card that goes with it. So we got the NPC token, we'll say NPC token pairs. So we got that. So I'll mark that to make sure we're not missing anything. Starting Pokemon cards. Oh yeah, we gotta have our starting Pokemon cards. Those are probably going to be defined at the onset of the game. So those are like the Pokemon. Let's see. Where would we put that? Let's just put it up here. I don't think they're really going to sit on the table. This is like game setup stuff, right? We'll put a little stack off to the side because these are not actually... And we'll call it starting Pokemon. And you get one per player. Maybe there's 6 to choose from or something. Maybe we offer a whole bunch of them. Okay, so when you set up here your starting play area, which we did on this one, so this could probably be like your starting Pokemon to set up, but you might have others. These are your new Pokemon. So let's see, starting Pokemon cards. So we'll say that is taken care of. And then we have player tokens, meeples. Now we can go ahead and, I don't know, we'll have a two. That would be a what? An ash hat. He's an ash hat. Yeah, just never mind. It's not kid friendly. All right, so I don't even know what would doesn't what's her friend? Daisy? Something like that? I don't know. There's other characters. We have the female version. Crooked head. This is the problem with trying to draw a character lying around sideways. We've got to make it look like they're lying on the table though, right? Player tokens. And so we got that. And then we have gym tokens. Oh, we'll just put a bunch of circles for gyms. I'm going to make them at least, what? I mean, we don't have that many. I mean, even if there's 6 or 7 of them, there's going to only be so many. So let's just make them 1-inch tokens. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll say gym tokens. So we got those counted for. And we're closing in on getting everything on the table. Pokeball meeple tokens. Pokeball. Oh yeah, well, we got to have those. Everybody should have Pokeball meeple tokens, but they should be on your in your play area. So that's what these little things are. These are this. These are Pokeball tokens. There you go. I wrote that many. Alright, Pokeball tokens. So we got those covered. Money tokens. So we got money tokens already covered. Whatever the heck that's going to look like. What does Pokemon money look like? I don't know if they ever showed money on there. I probably did. I have no idea what it looks like though. I know, legendary, legendary encounter die. Let's, I think that's going to have to be some kind of a fancy dice, right? And, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how one draws a die. Pretty sure I'm doing this wrong. I'm missing something, aren't I? Yeah, that's a pretty safe bet that I'm missing something. Probably missing the center circle. So this here is a legendary encounter die. Now this is only if we do it this way, because talked about you know, not being able to get legendaries unless certain criteria happen. If criteria for that player is encounter type roll the legendary die to see if you encounter oh, okay. So if you meet the criteria, you would roll that die, and that die would tell you whether or not you got a legendary encounter or if it's just a regular encounter. That makes sense. So we've got that covered. Doo-dee-doo. So hey, we've got all of the parts that I currently can think of, except the game tiles. Let's go ahead and put some game tiles on here, and this will clear up what I'm thinking for how our player tiles are going to look. Okay. So when you set it up, you'll have all these things sitting down on the board, but there will be a stack of area tiles, and they're octagonal in shape. So that would be, how big do we want these things? I'm thinking they need to be probably at least 3-inch squares. Just because you got to be able to put, or 3-inch octagons. Let's see if that works. Let's actually go with the 3.5-inch just to give ourselves plenty of room. So if I was to go like half across there and then go there, should be able to get a pretty good simile of an octagonal tile. There we go. So that's kind of what they would look like. And in here we'd have center point. And each time you enter one of these spots, so you'll be putting down like tokens, but there will be a bunch of them. So let's do this. So this will be our area tiles. Okay, so some of these will be foresty, which I don't know what a foresty tile. Go away. So if we do a foresty tile, so let's just say one's like, it's got foresty tiley, forest tiliness, like that, and it's not even forest, right? It's grass. So I don't know. There'll be mountains and other regions that you can have on these tiles. But so let's put a few of them out. Let's say that there's 4 in my stack, And then let's say we want to put some of these 4x tiles on the board. So we'll try to stick, say the first one goes somewhere in the middle. Doesn't matter what it is. Say you draw, and it goes do and then that one's a mountain one, so he's like this, and that's a mountain tile, and and then there's a special delineator on this thing like that shows that these ones could be connected to other tiles. So you might have one that comes off of him like that, which is really going to get bad drawing, but whatever. That is one ugly drawing. Let's take this guy. See, that has to go straight out because that's the only way that this, that's the only way this is going to work. So if we have it straight, it's going to V out in both directions, right? Maybe I'm just going at a bad angle. Let's go like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go this. There we go. That's closer. So then we have this. Okay, and then this guy might be a tree tile. Squirgly, and a tree. So mountain, tree. So as your little meeple token guy can move around here. Maybe if I made my thing bigger, but it won't make my line smaller, so it's like you get bigger, you can draw better, but you really got to be precise. So you got your little dude on there, and yeah. So we got ourselves some mountains, we got a tree tile, and let's say somewhere somebody comes along and they put in, I don't know, this little guy, which will be a town tile. Whoops, like that. And it's a special one. It's got towniness to it. So what does a town look like? We'll just say a house. Just put a little here you go, little house. That'll be a town tile. Now of course our lines will be a little bit more clear, but essentially if you encounter something, you would flip an encounter card, flip it over, and it would say, okay, well, you put in a town NPC, a town encounter. You encountered a town. Oh god, town encounter. You had a town encounter. But I think our encounter cards, if you're in a town, it'll tell you if nothing happens. So we might have town encounter that's a nothing. It could be an NPC. It could be a trainer. You just flip one of those cards over. It'll be one of those things that are out there. Maybe you even found an item. Maybe you found one looking around in a bush. Maybe we'll have a card that says, you searched the bush and you found a potion. Or maybe you found some other town Pokemon. Maybe a colorless Boonary, a bunny-airy, or whatever those things are, popped up in front of you and you encountered them. So maybe you can actually find colorless Pokemon in towns. I don't know. I think colorless Pokemon will be allowed to be anywhere, just because I don't know where they would be otherwise. Delicious, nice Not hot tea anymore. Not anymore. No longer hot tea. Okay. So let's shrink this down. Now, keep in mind, I think my my tiles came out to be about 3.5 inches. So that's not bad. 3.5 inch circles. We'll have to see what that looks like when we actually draw one up. That might be too small. Might have to go to 4 inches. But ultimately, we'll have these down here. They gotta have room to be able to put at least 8 people characters on them. Probably have a room in each space for some tokens. So they gotta be able to be pretty big. Maybe not a whole lot of information on them other than just slots, but you'll be putting them down, and that'll be an area that you can go into and walk around on. Oh yeah, and these guys, these tiles, I'm gonna blow one of these up. Let's go to a new page, and we'll just say, let's create an area tile. I'm gonna add me some grid lines again, and we'll just type right here. And we'll say, oops. And we're going to call this one area tile layout. Okay. So this doesn't matter. This is not going to be to scale necessarily, but what we need to do is make sure that, you know what, I am going to, if I use that tiny little tile set, it's going to be too small. So let's go to rule lines. Let's make this bigger so I can work with a bigger space. In fact, I might even go to giant here, just so I can work with them in real-time sizes. So I think, go diagonal here. Just do a 2-inch gap here. Okay, so that's kind of what our tile will be, and then we'll have our tree symbol on there to show you that it's a forest. Maybe it's in every tile space. But we also have like this cool little, we'll have this little walking area here. This is the other territory connector points. So wherever this tile goes, this is going to connect to one of your other territories. We'll say, let's blow this up and type in connector. Okay, and now in these areas we might have one area that's just woodsy. Dang it, go away. So we'll have woodsy, and then here you might have actually both. Maybe you have a trail that comes along and it just goes right up against here, and he just zigzags down through here, and it goes like that, and you have your nice little trail that runs around that way, and we'll put in a tree here to show that it's also a it could be either one, so you could choose your encounter at that spot. Be the only one like it, because you have a trail entry, you got a tree, a forested area entry. Well, that tree is looking pretty sick. But this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And then these guys aren't going to be marked. It'll just be a forest area. They might look green or whatever, look kind of rough, but these will tell you that they're just forested areas. So when you're going through, you can actually encounter 4 spots that have trail, I guess 5 spots that don't, because that one has that. So you have an entry and a mix. So it's only so much. You can only do so much. I guess I could have put one up here that they could have both had. Yeah, well, for now that'll work. How we design them, they could be varying too. I could put connectors in different spots so that the trails, so you would have to line up your trails though. So if you connect another tile to one of these 2 spots, it has to be connected to another trail. So whatever the other side, the other piece has it, that's where its trail is. So you'll be trying to make that work for the piece. So that's really all that this would be. But then if you're going to have it marked, you might have on here a let's just say a little trainer dude like this. He's just going to be marked on there, and then off to the side might be 1, and then somewhere off to the side will be a 1, and next to this 1 would be a card that says trainer. We'll say trainer A. Actually, let's just say trainer A. We'll put the A down here. And then over on this side, maybe you encountered something, and you might, encounters won't stay. If you fail, it runs away, and you have to find another one. So those are a little bit more random, but the trainers will stay there. They'll sit there and wait for the next person to come along and fight with them. So they're permanent locations. So whenever a person would come along, hit this meeple, he's like, oh, you know, I'm going to fight you. And you can fight him at this spot. So we got to have rules like, can we allow walking around a trainer? Say, I don't want to fight him, I'm just going to go around. Can't have encounters where a trainer is sitting. So that would kind of block that spot from being a new encounter. You cannot encounter. Let's see. Let's go ahead and mark some new rules down to adjust for this, because I think we need to have some pretty, you know, some limitations. You know, trainers aren't going to hang out right next to each other, so it's a little too close. At least 2 spots away. NPCs. Let's see. Pokemon Center store. Merchants in town. Traveling merchants. Same type NPC. Shop, merchant, or trainer cannot go in adjacent spaces of area tile. Or how about just NPCs? How about in general they can't? So you have to walk a little way. They're not next door to each other, right? Actually, merchant. How about this? Traveling merchants and trainers cannot go in adjacent spaces of area tile. Same type shop NPC cannot be placed on same tile, same area tile. And we don't need 2 stores, 2 Pokemon centers, 2 of anything in a store, in a town. So if there's more than one, you have to go to another town tile. This kind of keeps things from, you know, landing in on the same town over and over again. Man, I think we're getting really close. Almost ready to start mocking up some some pieces. So I know we haven't got all the rules written out. Traveling merchants can only be placed on non-town area tiles. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't actually draw up what, we might have a tile that kind of looks mountainous, but I think that kind of tells you these are, this is a type tile. Right, type, all right, well fine, type tile. Type, and we'll also have town tiles. And it's basically the same thing, right? So we're just going to have a nice little town tile, which towns tiles will have their little hut. So this is just a marker that tells you that is some bad drawing. There we go. That's close. So that's just going to mark that it's a town tile, and then you could put like little shop NPCs out here. So maybe a shop. It'd be the same thing. Maybe shop NPCs also need to be markered from the meeples. Two. And down here it would be a 2, and then it would be town NPC 2. Or no, can't be 2. Could be anything. Town NPC A. Because it's whatever the town NPC is, but we're still just going to mark them with this so that you can, when you're moving around, you know that you can go, that if you land in this spot, this is the dude you're dealing with. And that's kind of how the towns, I don't know what a town will look like in drawing, since I have no idea. We can put buildings and other junk on there just to kind of show what they look like, people's houses and stuff. I don't know that it matters what direction these houses are facing. Let's cheat. I can cheat on this, can't I? And then we say Control C, Control V, and then we take this little guy and we put it there, and V, and we put it over here, and right there, and we put it over there. There we go. So now we have our little town tile to show you where the shops are. Maybe they vary. The shop buildings are in different places. I think that'll work. This is just a marker to show what kind of tile this is, and when you're drawing your encounter cards, it'll tell you what to put down. Let's see here. I'm really thinking I want to start making up some tiles that we can print and start playing with. Ooh, we're getting close. I don't think it's it's obviously not 100%, but until you start marking stuff down and really starting to get in there and get in the weeds and actually play with it, now that you've got the stuff, you don't know what's where it's headed. But I think we have a lot. We have a lot of the rules, a lot of the stuff, and obviously my rules have to be clarified, because right now they're just a bunch of lists, and there's some redundancies and probably missing details, and a lot of things that we'll have to hash out as we start playing with it. But I think we're ready. I think the next time we go to it, it's going to have a bunch of. I'll have to start pulling out a bunch of my goodies things that we can try. Um, I think we'll start playing with Publisher and Excel next time. Yeah, that's what we'll do tomorrow. I'll get them up. I'll start setting up, putting them so we can build some of our cool little tiles and what's going to be on there. I think our town tiles and our type tiles probably won't need Excel much because there won't be a lot of merging. There's nothing going to be on them except, you know, design and pictures, of which I am terrible at. So yeah, they're going to be ugly. Um, yeah. It's not going to be great. I'll probably be pulling a lot of stuff off the internet, clip art and other junk to try to assemble it. And I'll be kind enough to do that while I'm streaming, so that you can struggle along. You can watch me struggle through that, and we'll see if we can get some mock-ups of at least tiles. The whole thing I'm gonna use the Publisher is just to do the design, so everything comes out, you know, comes out basically in the same shape. I'll do the same thing with the cards. Cards work pretty good doing that. And I've actually done other my football game. I did it with the cards. It works out really good. There are some. I forgot. There's a game, an app that Pokemon. I got Pokemon on the brain. Adobe came out with that. I forgot what it's called. Indeed or Instinct or something, where it does all that stuff. And there's even a card builder app out there in the world. I don't know if it's free or if it even works the way I want it to, but I need to be able to do a mail merge. I want to be able to merge a list of stats into my visuals, and that's what I can do with Excel and Publisher. So I'm gonna try to make sure I refresh myself up on that. That's my goal for tomorrow. Now, time. I have to shoot for the afternoon because I'm gonna have to spend some time, you know, making sure I know what I'm doing with the Excel and Publisher, so that when I'm playing with it, we're watching progress in design of the game, not progress in my learning how to use it. Granted, I won't have it down, but I'll just have to refresh on how to do that. Plus, I don't have. Plus, with the latest versions of those tools, I don't know which ones, you know, how they've changed. I'll get that down. Okay. You know, we hit pretty close to an hour on this. I went over this morning, and so I'm going to call it good. I think we're in a good state to start building up some prototype parts. And yeah, see you tomorrow.